Here's Brody Brazil.
So up to this point, the NHL in Utah has basically only been fun and games, well, without the actual games, right? First off, the Coyotes made their official arrival to the Delta Center, and the Smith Group was there to welcome them, and everybody's talking about now picking a name. And yeah, it's all positive, it's optimistic, and it's fun. It's the fun side of a city getting a brand new NHL team. But now we're starting to get into the business stuff, and this is where it takes a little bit of a different twist. The headline here from the Salt Lake Tribune recently said, Ryan Smith wants control of 3 city blocks and a whole lot of public money for his proposed SLC, Salt Lake City Entertainment District. The billionaire sports tycoon wants to lease portions of Salt Palace property. That's the convention center right across the way. This came out on May 2nd saying this, Ryan Smith wants control of at least 3 downtown blocks, unlimited building heights, and a whole lot of public money as part of a deal to bring an entertainment district to Salt Lake City. Those details came from an April 4th application the billionaire pro sports tycoon submitted to the city, kicking off negotiations for creating the new downtown district. The city initially denied the Salt Lake Tribune's open records request for the application, citing business confidentiality, but said this past Thursday, that Smith Entertainment Group ultimately waived its claim to withhold the record. The application is the first part of a process laid out by SB 272. That was the Senate bill as part of the legislative session, $900 million for an indoor sports arena for basketball and hockey. The bill that the Utah lawmakers passed this year to pave the way for putting $1 billion, $900 million, of public money into the sports district. The legislation allows Salt Lake City to raise its sales tax rate by 0.5 percentage point to create revenue for the project area, new revenue for the project area. So the application, via the Salt Lake Tribune's reporting, asks for these specific things. A 99-year lease for the block that the Delta Center sits on, leasing 2 additional blocks east of the Delta Center from Salt Lake County. SEG, that's Smith Entertainment Group, they actually get to keep the money generated by new sales tax for 30 years. They get to keep it, almost all of it. That's an estimated $54 million a year for 30 straight years. And then there's the tax that is minus 1% of a city administrative fee that goes to the city. And then whatever gets spent in renovating the Salt Palace, I think that's up to the county and the Smith Group how much they actually want to put into that. But still, $54 million is kind of that base revenue. They also are asking, the application asks, for lifting caps on building heights downtown. Currently, that must be a thing that, buildings can only go up to a certain height. They also want the ability to do more stadiums, heliports, more commercial and parking zones in the downtown area. So they want basically almost unlimited control, it seems, of zoning in the downtown area in this sports and entertainment district. There's also a potential tax increment financing district that they want to create where developers get tax revenue from the projects themselves. So I don't know if that means the Smith Group gets this for developing it or if another developer comes in, but they're making it more lucrative to do the development by collecting tax dollars that'll pay back the developers. They also want to do creation of a public infrastructure district, which means that bonds can be issued to pay for things like roads and sewers and electrical and all the infrastructure type stuff that comes with a neighborhood, with a district like this. And so that's all of this written down. I wanted you to see this news coverage from Salt Lake City Television and how they see things.
This is one of those things that permanently changes the face of the city. And so we're hoping that we are going to give the city a facelift and not a scar.
By bringing a new NHL team to Utah, the Smith Entertainment Group that also owns the Utah Jazz is proposing to turn about 100 acres around the Delta Center into a sports and entertainment district.
Adding hockey brings a new audience downtown, and they're going to create patterns, and they're going to find their favorite restaurant
Dave and
bar
Buster's
and make that part of their downtown experience.
In their application, the Smith Group wants to significantly renovate the Delta Center to be conducive to hockey and basketball. They want to add more around the arena, including retail, restaurants, hospitality, housing, parking, and other entertainment and cultural uses.
I think about when we built City Creek Center. That led to the Eccles Theater and a number of residential towers and office towers and many other improvements to downtown.
The proposed area also includes county property. Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson shared a statement saying, in part, with the goal of a convention, sports, entertainment, and cultural district downtown, we are thoughtfully evaluating how the development may shape downtown and how the Salt Palace, Utah Museum of Contemporary Arts, and Abravanel Hall fit into this equation. Part of building this revitalization zone is possibly leveraging public funding through a 0.5% sales tax increase in the city.
We take nothing for granted. Not one penny can be used in a way that doesn't leverage itself to increasing the general fund, increasing the experience for people who call Salt Lake home.
The application also proposes some zoning revisions, like removing some building height restrictions, but there are still many details that need to be figured out.
We're optimistic that getting this right is something that will pay off in dividends.
So this process will move forward at Tuesday night City Council meeting, as the Smith Entertainment Group will be there to answer council members' questions as they figure out what exactly this project area will look like. In downtown Salt Lake City, I am Maithili Gubbi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
So there you go. I always appreciate when things I say match up with what somebody else saw and reported there on Fox 13 from Utah. So reaction has gone like this. Andrew Wittenberg is the spokesperson for Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall. Mr. Wittenberg says this, quote, "The city anticipates Salt Lake County and the state of Utah will have different needs and abilities to contribute to the project, not solely city taxpayers." Remember, this is Andrew Wittenberg representing the city, saying, we expect that the county and the state are going to have different needs and abilities too. This is not all going to come down on the city. We look forward to working with SCG and other stakeholders as the project moves forward. A little bit of deflection there, a little bit of, hey, we're all in this together. Don't just come looking at the city for everything you're trying to accomplish here. Victoria Petro is the Salt Lake City Council chair. Victoria says, quote, "For us, it's a matter of making sure if we go down these paths, that it's something that truly brings about a positive change for the whole city at large. No one is closed off to any options, but again, everything is so conceptual that it would be naive for us to close ourselves off to any options," end quote. And then there's some more coverage here from that Salt Lake Tribune article, which says Rusty Cannon, president of the Utah Taxpayers Association, said his organization was neutral on the arena district legislation and that the proposed sales tax increase was the only public funding he was aware of before the Smiths' application was released. Basically saying that the Utah Taxpayers Association was fine with, what was it, SB 272. They were fine with that, but they're now realizing there's a lot more to this equation. There's a lot bigger ask than they initially thought. The creation of the district relies on the Salt Lake City Council to approve the requested tax increase. The council is expected to hear more details about this proposal at its Tuesday evening meeting. So here you go. My takeaways start with this. It's like how I started the beginning of this video. The fun part was getting the team. The fun part was their arrival. The fun part is picking out a name and a mascot and colors and talking about season ticket sales. But now this is the less sexy part. This is the business part, where the Smith Entertainment Group says, hey, now we have an NHL team with our NBA team. We're trying to build out this entertainment district. We're asking for help. And oh yeah, by the way I see it, the Smith Group right now has even more leverage and momentum than they ever have before. I mean, you think about already owning the Jazz, and that was enough of a hold on Salt Lake City to maybe get some things done, but now people are so excited, maybe, dare I say, influenced by the NHL's arrival. They're willing to do more. They see a better vision. They understand that this has bigger foundations now. 2 professional sports teams calling Delta Center home. So now maybe politicians and voters, they're more willing to go with whatever is necessary to make this entertainment district happen, whether it's public funding or votes or all of that combined. And it kind of all boils down to this as my last takeaway. Maybe this is the most important thing. It is still so crazy that here in 2024, every new arena, every new sports stadium, every new venue requires it be surrounded by a sports and entertainment district. It's no longer about building your optimal stadium, your arena, your whatever. it has to have other things around it, residential, commercial. In this case, apparently a heliport is a big deal. But it's a sign of the times that it's no longer about just the building and housing your team. It's also about real estate and the opportunity to cash in on the area that surrounds your venue, that surrounds your team's home, and to try and cash in on that. And I think that's where sometimes teams run into problems. Teams are sports teams. They're not necessarily real estate developers, but now they're also obviously trying to jump into that business. So yeah, this is no surprise that the Smith Group, they did all this hard work. They got the NHL. They landed a team. They have a quick turnaround. And now the quick turnaround is this. They're asking for help from either the state of Utah, the county, or the city of Salt Lake in some public assistance. And it's not abnormal in this day and age for this ask to happen. We'll see if it actually happens. Again, that $900 million, to be clear, has already been approved by the state of Utah. So that's pretty much ready to go. It's just that the Smith Group is not only asking for that, they're asking for several things beyond that, which are about to get negotiated. Hey, you made it here to the end of this video. You know I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That'll greatly help me and this video and this channel. And by the way, if you've never seen me or any of this stuff before, that's actually a good thing. I'm glad you found me, but make sure you come back next time. The best way to do that is to go down there right now and hit that subscribe button so I can definitely see you back here again.